Hey everybody, welcome to Lemon's World. Today we're going to be talking about one of the top 5 winningest chassis in Lemon's racing ever. And of course we're talking about the BMW E28 5 Series.
So you might ask, why that car? Well, there's a whole bunch of reasons. I mean, the parts are pretty good quality. The suspension is pretty good. They're pretty durable. The chassis are pretty stiff.
From the factory, you've got a couple of different engine choices. Here in the US, you've got the small 6, which came in the 528E. That's pretty slow, pretty reliable. The Sharks, famous Lemons team from years ago, they ghetto-charged a 528E, which made it, instead of slow and reliable, fast and unreliable.
And then there's the big 6, most notably in the 533, and that was reasonably powerful and reasonably reliable.
And you've got the engine-swapped E28s. We've seen M50 twin-cam straight 6s. We've seen domestic V8s. Those have had mixed success in Lemons, especially the V8s, which tend to be but terrible.
Yeah, the other thing to remember about these cars is, they're BMW sedans, but they're cheap. These started out as incredibly expensive German luxury touring sedans. Well, you get drive it off the showroom floor and it's immediately worth 50% right there. First thing breaks, you get a warning light on the dash. That's another 50%. That goes on for about 10 years, and pretty soon, this is a $200 car.
All of that stuff, 528E, 535i, engine swap, suspension, brakes, that's not the real reason why the E28 is successful in Lemons. The real reason is Cerveza Racing happens to use a BMW E28 as their Lemons car. The E28, as we said, is one of the winningest chassis in Lemons history, but there have been only 3 non-Cerveza E28s that have won in 200 plus Lemons races.
Yeah, so this is really what we call a statistical anomaly, because if you take Cerveza out, if you throw that result out, there have only been these 3 cars, and they were distributed. There was one in 2010, there was one in 2018, there was one in 2007. I mean, there's no other logic behind this. So what accounts for this exactly? Well, as we always say in Lemons, racing is really not a speed problem, it's an organizational problem.
Yeah, a few years ago, we did a statistical analysis on the most successful Lemons cars, and the Volvo 240 was really high on the list. And that's just because there were 3 different teams in the Northeast that consistently placed in the top 10 overall in Volvo 240s. They were different kinds of Volvo 240s. There was naturally aspirated Volvos, turbo Volvo 240s, V8 swap. It didn't matter. The team mattered more than the hardware.
So there's the thing. The E28 statistically shows up as successful because Cerveza is successful. What makes them successful? They're organized. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They don't stick the car's nose in where it doesn't belong. They have their paperwork in order. They understand the rules. And the car is ready to go. And when they come in for a pit stop, their guys are ready to give it a pit stop. They're all quick drivers, they're all mature drivers, and that absolutely helps. But if they didn't have that organizational stuff taken care of, it wouldn't matter how fast you are, you wouldn't be out on the track gathering laps. And for a long time, all the haters in the paddock said, well, they have a cheaty motor in that car. Like, clearly, there is no other way. They are beating my pants off. So we did a pop dyno quiz once. The end of the day, Saturday, top 5 cars had to come in. We put them on a flatbed dyno. They couldn't touch the car. It was a total surprise. Cerveza was turning like 140 horsepower at the rear wheel. I mean, this thing was absolutely stock. It was worse than stock.
So what are we saying? That Cerveza can win in anything and they just happen to choose the E28?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, in fact, Super Uber racer Spank, he had this idea and he's very serious about it. He wants to get a whole fleet of Ford Tempos and prepare them for some of these incredibly talented and organized teams like Cerveza and Eyesore and you know, that whole group. And his theory is that they will, if not win, at least place super high in a Ford Tempo. And I think he's right.
Indeed. So, if you're trying to win overall, which you're not really required to do in Lemons, it might be a better idea to start with an E28 than, say, a Ford Tempo, but it's not going to be the magic solution that makes your team fast.
And in fact, I would say if you want to look for the dominant E28, it's actually not even Cerveza, even though they've won all these races, it's these guys.
Thanks for watching Lemon's World.
Don't forget to subscribe.